You are listening to And I Quote, a podcast focused on building relationships with insurance agents, brokers, their small business clients, and industry leaders. This podcast is presented by Coterie Insurance.
With your hosts, Brian Thomas, Director of Claims Experience, and Ann Boger, VP of Scaling. We will be exploring the power that connection, communication, and commitment can have on your business. Join us every Thursday for a new episode and topic that will provide key insights to help build your business, agency, and client relationships. And I quote.
Here we are, Ann Boger, Brian Thomas, with our very first episode of And I Quote, a podcast focused on building relationships with our insurance agents, our brokers, our small business clients, as well as industry leaders. Presented by Coterie Insurance.
I am so excited to be here today, Brian. I'm so glad we're doing this together.
Super jazz indeed. But you know what? Before we go any further, I know we both work for Coterie, not just the fancy shirts. We both work for Coterie. What do you do for us here at Coterie Insurance?
I am the VP of Scaling. I focus on how Coterie itself grows as a business. So we started as a really small team with a big idea around a single table, and now we're over 150 insurance professionals all across the country. And so I help us think about what it means to grow and change so quickly.
Beautiful. So let me ask you, Ann, as the year or your tenure has been, what have been the strengths that you've seen that have happened in Coterie through our scaling of the organization?
Oh, what a great question. Coterie is really focused on data and how data can enable people to do things smarter and faster. And I have been amazed to watch our data and our digital team just get smarter and smarter in the things that they're building, with a real focus on what do agents and their clients really need to make their lives simpler and to enhance the relationships that fuel what they do for a living. And so it's been really inspiring to get behind the scenes, lift up the hood, and think about what is the infrastructure you need to build to fuel that kind of relationship building. What do you do here, Brian?
To continue on what you were saying about making it easier, right? So
Yeah.
my role is Director of Claims Experience. I round out a team of claim professionals here, and we were tasked with transitioning the claims management from an outside model to an internal model. So with that, we're able to control the claims process from end to end, from F&OL to resolution of the claim. And that will just make it a lot easier for our external partners. So that's what my task is with, using technology to leverage and obviously not losing the human element. We want to try to find that healthy hybrid of both. So what days are we going to be able to hear this fantastic podcast?
So our podcast is going to launch every Thursday with a new episode, and you and I are going to take turns hosting the podcast and interviewing agents and their clients and industry leaders on the experience of the things that they do every day. I'm really excited for this. I already have met some of the people I'm going to be interviewing, and they are dynamic.
That's fantastic. That is pretty awesome. I'm super jazzed to kind of really peel back the layers and really try to get our voice and our message out to a greater audience. So, I mean, together, I think we're going to be pretty darn good. What do you think, Ann?
I'm really looking forward to listening to your episodes because I won't be in the recording, so I'll be able to hear it fresh when it comes out. And I'm really looking forward to that because I think you're going to ask really insightful questions and just get people really to open up about what it is that they do. And I think it's really easy for people to assume that once you go more digital, once you make things more automatic, that somehow you've lost the soul of the business. And I think the opposite can be true. And I'm really excited to talk to people who can really help highlight what it really means to be in the industry.
Totally. I mean, in this day and age, it's always so great to kind of really truly look and truly get to the crux of what matters. Those relationships, right? That's the full name of our podcast. And
Yeah.
I quote, because relationships matter.
Yeah.
And really getting to the crux of who those people are. And in this day and age, I mean, it's just great to kind of peel back the layers and really truly get to know these people and strengthen our relationships.
You know, one thing you said a minute ago, talking about your own work, Brian, just stuck with me, which is, insurance is really about being there in someone's hard time, right? Something that was not planned, did not go as planned, or was not anticipated. And a lot of that comes down to trust, right? And to having trust that you're going to have the support you need when something goes awry with your business, when a hurricane comes through the neighborhood, whatever it might be. And so much of that trust comes from relationships and from being able to rely on the infrastructure and the systems that are in place to make sure they're there for you when you need them.
Correct, correct. I mean, the emergent circumstance is the whole key that what we're doing this and really trying to be that beacon, trying to be that resting shoulder for our insureds, our agents, brokers, and especially our small business clients, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super jazzed, super jazzed. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Ann. Please.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing I'm really interested to hear more about is how many of our small agents are small businesses themselves. And so so much of what we do is to support small businesses in all forms, including the agencies themselves. So that's just going to be really great to hear from so many dynamic, interesting, independent agents building businesses across the country.
My heart's aflutter because I'm so super excited. But Ann, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our very first guest that we have on, and then every week after. Be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be Ann's first subscriber, so be sure to subscribe. And thank you guys so much. Do not forget our name for our podcast and our quote, because relationships matter. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to And I Quote, a podcast emphasizing the importance of building trustworthy relationships that can help grow your business through educational conversations with independent agents, small business owners, industry leaders, and experts. This podcast is brought to you by Coterie Insurance. Coterie Insurance is simplifying small business insurance through agents, brokers, and partners. If you're interested in becoming a Coterie producer, you can click the link in our show notes or description. Don't forget to subscribe to the And I Quote podcast so you can get notified when a new episode is released.